views matter.
रेडियो जिंदगी 1170 AM पे वेलकम लिसनर्स, मैं हूं आपके साथ में ईरा एंड वेलकम टू द शाह पिराली लॉ शो, जहां पे हमारे साथ जुड़ते हैं शाह पिराली, द फाउंडर, प्रेसिडेंट एंड मैनेजिंग अटॉर्नी ऑफ द शाह पिराली लॉ ग्रुप, which is right here in Newark, California. He is a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association as well as the State Bar of California. He is a passionate advocate of human rights, civil rights, social action and social services, and he has a strong interest in and knowledge of the political legal system in the US. He formed his law group to work on the causes he feels most ardently about. The law group focuses on immigration law with an emphasis on employment-based immigration. He helps all his clients all over the US. Offices, like I said, are right here in Newark, California, and right here in the Bay Area, also San Francisco and Washington, D.C. Listeners, if you'd like to get in touch with Attorney Shah Pirali, आपका कोई सवाल होता है जो आप उनसे अभी पूछना चाहते हैं, आप कॉल कर सकते हैं स्टूडियो नंबर पर. अटॉर्नी शाह पिराली हमारे साथ 11 बजे तक जुड़े हैं till 11 AM. Any questions you have about your immigration case or your status, you can call us up on 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. You can also call up the office number if you'd like to discuss something privately. Number है 510-742-5887. So when you call us on air, or if you want to call us on air but you do not want to disclose your name because of whatever, if you're not comfortable talking about your case on air in front of everybody, that's okay. You can even call and ask your question anonymously. We don't really need to know your name. आप सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. स्टूडियो नंबर खुला है 510-657-1170. All this information and more is available on his website piralilaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. Attorney Shah, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ira. Good morning to all the listeners. And again, as you have said, we are going to talk about immigration, but we're going to also talk a little bit about the outcome of the elections, even though it's not very, very clear at this point. But we will talk about that, the effects on immigration now that hopefully we have President-elect Biden taking over. And of course we're going to talk about politics, but people can call for anything in immigration, and anything I'm going to tell you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions, and they can call me at the office 510-742-5887. So today, Ira, as we were talking a little bit before the show started, it's really we are in
Attorney Shah, sorry to interrupt. Your disclaimer that you always say.
Yes. I think I just said it right now.
Did you?
I just said it.
I might have missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. Let me repeat it because it's important that people understand that the disclaimer is important because these are my opinion, and I'm not giving people legal advice when it comes to radio shows. It's just informational, and in case people need a full advice, then they have to contact us at the office, and it's just my opinion at this point. So we never really discussed about this disclaimer. I always say it, and it's good you're saying that. It's important because people have to know that in those 1 minute or 2 minutes I'm answering your call, I can give you maximum information, but I cannot really analyze the case in details, and as such I'm not really giving you legal advice until I get all the facts in front of me, spend at least half an hour with you, then I can give people a real good advice on their case. But for general information, as much as I can, I try my best to answer people's questions. So going back to the situation again, Ira, like I said, now we have supposedly a president-elect. Well, I'm not saying supposedly. According to me, he is the new president. But of course, we have a lot of not a lot, but many legal challenges, most of which doesn't even hold water. But it's happening, and that was something we were expecting from Trump because he already said that. And the worst part is that his followers believe him. And they really believe him. I've seen a bunch of people now even partying, and even the State Secretary Pompeo, he's basically in denial that Biden has won. When he was asked when he's going to basically do the transition, he's ignoring it. He's saying, well, there's no transition, kind of. It's Trump has been elected. And this kind of, either they are playing stupid or they are really playing us here. So there are a lot of things happening right now in America. And I've never seen this, and nobody have ever thought we will see it, because we always believe we are the land of the free. Some kind of honesty exists, despite the fact that there are many things we don't agree with. But the truth is that under Trump, it's been really like that. It's been a bunch of lies, and it's not ending now. And the worst part is that we also have him kind of firing everybody in the main people in the Pentagon to hire people who will basically obey his rules, and that usually signals some kind of what we call a coup. I'm not an expert in that, but as far as I know, this is what dictators do. So there are many things that are going to happen in the next few months. Biden seems to be very composed, which gives us a lot of hope, because according to CNN, and which looks like there is a potential of a 306 win for Biden, which brings the Electoral College to more than he needed. But we just heard two things right now. Alaska won, Trump won Alaska, which was something we expected. It's not a lot of electoral votes anyway. But also there's a recount in Georgia, which is unheard of, because Biden is leading by 14,000 votes, which is a lot above. But Georgia law allows that, so we're going to see a recount there. And Pennsylvania, he's filing a lawsuit in the federal court, hoping it will go to the Supreme Court, where pretty much he has a big stronghold there. And if that goes there, they are trying to invalidate the elections in Pennsylvania, stating that they accepted the ballots too late. And that's not even people's fault, it's the post office. And they did everything to block the post office. So a lot of things are happening that they are not in denial, they are purposefully ignoring it just to basically kind of rig the elections.
So they're refusing to accept the results of the elections. So we saw, we've been seeing in the news that they've been filing lawsuits, and there have been cases. But I think what people mostly are concerned about, first of all, is he even let's not say he, but is the GOP even allowed to do that legally? Is that even allowed? Secondly, is it eventually going to change anything? That everyone's been happy. The whole world has been celebrating the victory of President-elect Joe Biden and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. But if something happens, or because of these lawsuits and cases, is it going to change anything, or did we just get too happy too soon?
It's not. In normal times, yes, it is normal that even Trump didn't win by that many last time he won. So the only thing that is causing the problem is Trump himself. The whole system he doesn't work in a normal way. He's always have those twisted ways of seeing things. Like, I was listening to Robert De Niro today, the famous actor. He was saying, when you're so used to corruption to be twisted that any right path is not normal for you. And that's what is Trump and the entire Republican Party now, unfortunately, not entire, but most of them, unfortunately, are in that not state of denial, is that state of, hey, we don't care what you say. The biggest argument that they have inside is, if you look at the results, minorities voted for Biden more. And that's bothering them, that minorities have a say in America. And that's what's causing a lot of problem. And basically they're saying, hey, those people don't count. We don't count. So why will they care about our votes. So, and that's, I think, what is the worst part of it, because we just seen the racism to the really kind of the extreme, and now we have the pandemic, and it's really kind of getting worse in terms of cases, and we had all those rallies all over. We're going to see a lot of more people suffering. And Biden has come up with a plan. I'm going to be honest, just as a disclaimer, I'm not a fan of Biden. I've never read me. I was more a Sanders guy. But at this point in time, he's coming up with I was very impressed with his plans. And I saw that he's really kind of acting with a lot of composure and really kind of keeping things straight. The team that he built with this surgeon, actually he's from India, South India. He's the one who was fired by Trump. This guy is a really hot shot. If he takes over the pandemic team, we will have some results. I can bet on that. And that's the part that kind of bothers me, because the same thing Trump could have done, and he has not done it. He could have just kept a team which is, it would not have been difficult to keep a team which could help so many people, and now we have 250,000 people dead. No other country really has this kind of rate right now. Mm-hmm. Even China, where it started. And that's kind of really, that has to sink in with people who support Trump. Okay, the biggest thing I hear, Trump doesn't go to war. Seriously, he doesn't go to war, but he encourages other people to do the war for him. And that's what people don't understand. So we don't have a reduction of wars when Trump took power. And that's what their argument is, Trump doesn't go to war. No, he doesn't, but look at the world around right now. Everybody's at war, and the truth is, like, it's not him who goes to war, but he sends other people to war. So it's as bad.
Were you talking about Preet Bharara?
No, not Preet.
Not Preet Bharara.
There is this gentleman, I forget his name, who took over now the chief surgeon general or something like that. I forget his name. He's a very young guy. He's 36 years old or something, but he's very, very smart. He's from South India.
Vivek Murthy.
My parents. Yes.
I think Vivek Murthy is who you're talking about.
Vivek Murthy.
Vivek Murthy, exactly. Yes, young
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we needed someone like that, and they're really kind of an awesome team that he's going to put. The guy's a genius, and we can trust him, but he could have done the same, but actually he fired him. And that's what bothers me a lot, and the same thing in all the areas. Now the Pentagon, he just fired the person who will not listen to him, and that's really a bad sign, because he also fired the person who's in charge of the nuclear bombs, right? So that's kind of making people ask question, why would you do that? Are you planning to bomb someone with a nuke? So all those questions are worrying people who understand what is happening, but at the same time, I am hoping that I'm completely wrong. It's just like he's just blowing fumes, and then after a while, just like he does with Korea and all the stuff, suddenly he will come back and say, okay, I'm conceding, but he will try to make a deal, and that's what a lot of people are hoping. He's just trying to make a deal, maybe to be prevented from to prevent anybody from prosecuting him and things like that. That's pretty much kind of my take on this. But at the same time, yeah, go ahead.
No, I actually wanted to remind our listeners that we are in conversation with Attorney Shah Pirali. We are talking about immigration and possible effect of the recent elections on immigration and how it's going to be going forward. A lot of news articles, a lot of articles have been floating around. A lot of rumors have been floating around. And people have been estimating, or people have been guessing as to what the immigration reforms are going to be. So that's all what we're talking about, listeners. If you also have any questions, you can call us, or if you want to talk about your case specifically, if you want to tell your name or anonymously, that's completely okay. Just call us up on the studio number, make use of this opportunity and speak to Attorney Shapir Ali. Call us on 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. And if you'd like to get in touch with Attorney Shapir Ali after the show, you can call on 510-742-5887 or log on to the website piralilaw.com. Attorney Shah, lot of, like I said, a lot of people, we have a caller. Let's take this call first. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shapir Ali.
Yes, please.
Ji Mohammed ji. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
Ji.
Yes, Mohammed ji, go ahead.
He's listening. Please go ahead, Mohammed ji.
Yes, वो खबर ये है कि somebody told me.
आपका पीछे रेडियो ऑन है, प्लीज बंद करेंगे?
हाँ, वही बंद कर रहा हूँ. Somebody told me कि in Pakistan, Islamabad embassy is issuing visa to students, visitors, and needy persons. When they are going to open the immigration visa, do you have any idea, sir? I shall be really thankful to you.
It's very hard to tell. Okay, this is the thing. This is the thing that it's good you asked that question. One of the things I was going to talk about is the changes that can happen once Biden takes power, or if Biden takes power. So one of them is a promise that the clock that we have at the U.S. Embassy for no reason, like especially in Islamabad, in Middle East, etc., where we had the Muslim ban, right? That's what we call it. Now it's going to be lifted. And that's a promise from Biden and Kamala. And they spoke about that last week. That is on the first day they will remove that. So we are hoping once this gets open, they will get the visa. Not of course 100% easier, but at least it will be going forward. The only problem is that because of the pandemic and the COVID, you're going to see still a delay. But at least we know we have some hope, inshallah, that things will work out. So right now at this point. So let's hope. This is one of the things I was going to mention, but it's good you bring me directly to the topic, Mohammed ji. So I know you called the office last time too, and then right now there's not much we can do, but we will try to let's wait this transition, because that's going to change everything.
Sabir bhai, my wife file is in administrative processing for the last 1 year.
Yes, but that one unfortunately you won't be able to unclog it, because we don't know what the reason of the administrative processing. So only way you can unclog that is to have a politician getting involved or sue the government. But once the government changes, there's more potential to sue. I'll talk about that. It's called a writ of mandamus too in a few. But your questions are very pertinent to the situation. And that you're a good example of what has happened in the past 4 years with people for certain countries, where the government has been putting a ban on people just because of their religion or their country. And hopefully now with Biden, he promised that he will lift that. But having said that doesn't mean for sure, because there might be other issues in your case that we have to look at. But at this point, I think that's the issue. So just be patient now. Let's see if there's a transition. We have a new government. Things are going to be better, inshallah. Okay?
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling, Mohammed ji. Tell me, Attorney Shah, why did you say when President Biden takes over, or if President Biden takes over? That does not instill a lot of confidence. Please don't say such things.
No, but I said if, because there are a lot of problems going to happen.
It's 2020. We should all be positive about everything except the COVID.
No. We had some positive news this 2020. One of them is the election of Biden. Yeah. But if you look at, if you go in one of those right-wing, not even right-wing, one of those supporters of the Trump group, they are already celebrating, and I've seen friends who are trumpeters, I call them, and they are celebrating because they believe that he won, and they genuinely believe it. So what will happen next is either Trump comes there and say, you know what, now I accept I lost. They will calm down. If he doesn't say that, which he's not saying, those people will either make a mess, or they will make things very complicated. Because one of the requirements is when you have a transition which has always been accepted in America, is when a new government, and most countries, democratic governments in the world, when a country changes, they lose in an election, they come and say, okay, congratulations to the other side, this is now I'm passing, just like Obama did with Trump. But Trump was supposed to do that. The GSA was supposed to do that. The administrator of the GSA was supposed to sign and start giving funds to Biden to start hiring his people, putting things together. But they refused to do that. This is not normal. It never happened in America, except I think in 1870 or something like that. And even that, it was not that bad. So now the next problem is he's contesting all those elections in the court. Most of the cases have been rejected, by the way. Now Georgia has accepted to recount, so we're going to see Georgia back in the game. And that Pennsylvania, he's trying to block it on the Supreme Court. And we know what's the problem on the Supreme Court. He has his most supporters in the Supreme Court. Majority of justices are Republicans, conservative as we call them, and there's a chance they will side with Trump. Because if you look at now, you have Senator Lindsey Graham, whom we know has made most immigrants' life a nightmare. Mitch, also same thing. They are all supporting him. And you have Pompeo, and now you have him appointing a general, a brigadier on the head of the Pentagon, who's openly anti-Muslim. He said that, and which also means anti-immigrants, etc. So we're going to see a lot of complications there. We can try to discount it and say, no, don't worry, it will be fine. But no, it's going to be a tough fight, and he's not going to give up. And he has 3 months more to really kind of create a mess and enough chaos that people will turn crazy. So we cannot kind of promise there will be a transition. It won't be a smooth transition. It's already not a smooth transition. Now, it will get more complicated, definitely. People can say, okay, no, that's not what's happening. It's happening. You can't ignore it. But having said that, all his legal arguments are weak. In fact, judges just keep throwing them out, saying there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence. Even the independent watchdogs, international watchdogs, say there was no fraud, everything went very well. And he's still claiming fraud, which is, if we go to court as a lawyer and I claim something which is not true, the judge will not only the judge will kick me out, they will sanction me, which means you basically get punished for that. And I don't know how his lawyers are doing it and not getting sanctioned. And that's one thing that many lawyers like us are asking. We call it Sanction 11. When we do anything kind of frivolous, we get punished for it. That means basically we might have to pay a fine or even get a reporting at the state bar, etc. But they are doing it, and that's another thing that is worrying everybody. How come the state bar is not getting involved, etc.? So that's why I'm saying because there is a possibility that he can really turn the whole thing into a mess. Having said that, there's 99% chance Biden will take over without any problem. Is that 1% chance, or I'll say maybe 10% chance of things reversing that I'm talking about here. But it's creating enough fear and enough chaos that it's making people not focus on the transition, but focusing more on fighting him. So this is where we stand at this point. That's why, okay, let's say when. Now let's talk about when. We don't want to get into that details. This is more political than immigration. And hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you hear me? Okay,
I can hear you fine. It's again the telephone cable. So
I know. I did it. Yeah, go ahead. The
one of the articles that has been roaming around also, because see, I am sitting down with these agendas today that I have to discuss these with you, since we talk, mostly about immigration. There was an article that said that the Biden administration, and like you say, if it takes over, it would grant green card there's a long queue on backlog of 140,000 applications, and they would all be cleared. He would also remove the quota of the country-wise quota, which is especially Indian immigrants would benefit from it, and all this will actually be made possible within a year. What do you think about that? And also, I sent you that article about the citizenship. Yes.
Well, when they're talking citizenship, I think here they're talking about the path to citizenship, which means going through the green card, etc., and then getting the citizenship. I think it's totally doable, because at the end of the day, all those people are in the U.S. What are you going to do? Kick them? Nobody has kicked them out. Even Trump didn't kick them.
At some place, it does say that the administration will work towards providing a roadmap to American citizenship for nearly 11 million undocumented immigrants,
yes,
including over 500,000 from India.
Yeah, this is what you have to read. When they're saying they will work to a roadmap, it means they will have to meet certain requirements, a bit like DACA.
Okay.
That means basically, and that's not going to happen immediately, because number one, we don't have the Senate in our hand right now. Georgia is going to decide the Senate in January. Again, there will be a runoff. If it tips the balance for the Democrats, yes, a lot of things will happen. If not, everything will get stalled. No matter how much he's going to push things, it's just going to be political moves. So the answer is yes, it is possible for those 11 million people, because they're sitting here. Now, giving them citizenship will require a lot of things. For one, it will require that they go through a certain process. They will have to wait a certain time. But the articles, you know how it is. They always put the headline. They just go with the word citizenship. They're not just going to hand citizenship straightforward. But yes, okay, that part is not really our concern, the 11 million.
Okay.
It's the one that is kind of concerning us mostly, are the backlog, right? And yes, people who are undocumented in the U.S. will ultimately, it happened before, by the way, it's not new. We had that in the 1998 under Clinton, under the Life Act, where people who entered, if they had filed something, they were eligible to get, just as a parenthesis here, if you entered without inspection, entered illegally, you cannot really adjust status for a green card unless you fall into exceptions, like VAWA, for example.
Tanisha, we have a caller. Let's speak to this caller first, and then let's continue the discussion. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Purali.
Good morning, Mr. Shah. I have a question. So, I mean, all the, different visas and all the different categories of, applications and all, it has been, or it was deliberately, delayed, and the extended time period in Trump administration. So, do you think if Biden administration comes into power, that thing will change anytime soon?
Yes, exactly. It will change. Because we can only use the example of Obama. When Obama was here, we didn't have those problems. We had other issues with Obama, and as much as I like him, I also sued him for cases, so it's not like it's not new. But no, yeah, it will definitely change, because that's one of the things Kamala was talking about, I think, a couple of days ago, that first they're going to remove the ban. And when I say the Muslim ban, it also affects India, because a lot of Muslims in India. And also we had the COP, which is basically one of the reasons they will look at South Asians, for example, Southeast Asians, which means India, Pakistan, etc. They will delay cases for them. Definitely, under Biden administration, you're not going to have this, because all those are. If you look at what has happened with the Trump administration, as much as immigration has continued, every time he has tried to block something. First, he tried to block the students, then block the H-1B. It got reversed by the court. Then they had the 944 form, which was reversed twice by the court. Now you have, and you are asking questions about the U.S. Embassy also, right? Or you're asking inside the U.S.?
Yep.
So, about the U.S. Embassy also?
Thank you.
I can't hear you, sir. I think, okay, we lost the caller.
I think he got answered. Okay, let me answer both of them because because that was going to be part of the discussion anyway. So there will be few things that will happen. Let's take it one by one so that we don't go into a debate of politics because that's really outside the purview. But it's important to understand the foundation, what will happen next. For one, they will remove the Muslim ban, which means many of the countries which were kind of barred, like Iran, etc., will still be able to come here. They will allow refugees to come, which is pretty much something that we signed as under the Convention Against Torture, the Hague Convention, etc., where we have signed upon that we will accept refugees, and U.S. have always accepted refugees, and this is known around the world. As much as even we go and do the war, we still accept the refugees. So that's the second thing. The third thing that he's mentioning there, and your article is interesting, although the headlines are different than reality, but the truth is there. The 11 million people he's talking past the citizenship are those people under DACA mostly. And DACA was just a work permit that they were able to issue, but now they're going to look at something else. Okay, now after the work permit, will those people be able to file? And that will apply to everybody, not only for people from Mexico, but people, and they definitely will push it. The reason they will push it is because most of those people will vote Democrats down the road in 2024. So remember that. It's all politics, so you have to understand the way things are going. And also, as for the backlog, there's a big chance they will remove it, but I'm not so sure because that's going to disturb other countries. They will reduce the time, but they will not really kind of remove the per quota. That's what I think, but I might be wrong on this. The per quota is going to stay, but they will, just like right now you see a jump of 5 years in the filing, they will probably allow the 5 years also on the processing, which means basically the final action date will move by 5 years. And that's again my guess. I'm not 100% sure because they just say they will do something about it. And that will also apply for India because at the end of the day, even though there was a conflict that a lot of people believe Indians support Trump, but most Indians didn't support Trump. And the same thing happened for the Muslim community or the Hispanic community or the black community. Most of them supported Biden. So he's going to do something for all of them, and that's one of the things that the side of Trump are saying is what was scaring them, has been scaring them, is that immigrants are going to come. If you listen to one of those spiritual leaders of Trump, she keeps saying, oh, people come from Africa here and they commit crimes from Mexico and all this stuff. So at the end of the day, you're going to see, yes, immigration going back to a little bit, not a little bit, but totally normal. It used to be under Clinton, under Obama. Even under Bush, we still had an immigration, but they were very, very unfair to many people at that time. So people should not forget, this thing with Trump is just like Trump talks a lot, but it happened under Bush, a lot of things. Bush also, as a Republican, really hurt a lot of immigrants. People don't know that, but he did. As much as he pretend to be all good now, he was not good. I fought him for a long time. I had to sue the government, I think, almost 60 or 70 times to make things happen.
Okay.
So I'm just telling people this is not new. The difference now is that Trump has brought it to the extreme. And next person who comes like Trump is going to be totally worse. And that's why people have to be worried about. They have to get ready to fight this at the outset, because right now it started with Bush, moved to Trump. Next is going to be someone smart and mean. Right now you have someone not very smart but mean, but next time is going to be someone very smart and very mean, and it's going to be really something we won't be able to fight. So immigration-wise, yes. First of all, I think the ban is going to go. Refugees will still be accepted. The backlog will be reduced because that's another promise he made to the Indian community, and I think he will have to honor that. The 11 million, I'm not so sure, because the article is kind of making people fearful also, because a lot of people get scared. Okay, all those illegals are going to get papers where people who are legal are not getting anything. No, they won't get it like that. They will have to go through a long process, and you have a better chance on the legal means than go going to this other means. So, but those people have been here for ages. So, most of them are more American than Americans. So, they should get something. So that's something that, yes, we are expecting. We're also expecting delays at the U.S. Embassy to go away, except, of course, the COVID, which we won't be able to control because that's a health issue. It's nothing to do with the unfair system or anything. And now I heard the vaccine is coming, so hopefully this is going to be some good news. And for those who don't know, it's an immigrant who came up with the vaccine. So another point for us immigrants. So, and it's all those things that are going to be changed, definitely. And also, we're hoping the reverse of the H-1B rules, where the salaries are exorbitant, like most companies cannot afford it.
Right.
We're hoping also on student visas, he will open the doors more and make it easier for students to come here, just like under Obama. Although there was some glitches, people who are trying to commit fraud, of course, they're going to be in trouble. But people who are coming genuinely to study and, of course, go for H-1B, etc., I think he's going to make that easier, and he might even put something on the student visa which makes it a dual intent, hopefully. And that's kind of my guess here, so don't quote me on that, because that's my guess and my hope. So it might happen, but definitely everything that you saw difficulties, like you saw all those H-1B difficulties, you saw all those other stuff, like people living in fear on H4. Well, pretty much all the immigrants live in fear. As much as we pretend it was not happening, we were living our lives, the fear was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our hope is now it's going to be gone. Of course, there will be other fears coming. The pandemic's still there. The economy has really taken a hit. And hopefully now you saw the market going up based on the results. So we are hoping to see a good changes coming under Biden. Having said that, now what we are worried about is how much can Biden fix, and that's the tricky question, because Biden can only do things that are possible, because otherwise he will be just like pulling things out of a hat,
okay,
and that's not going to work.
And what about the green card queue thing that he said that, the backlog of 140,000 applications will be cleared, and that will probably be made possible within a year. How do you think that's going to work out?
Yeah, it will work. That's what I was talking about. The backlog will go.
It will work in the sense. How you think it's going to be? It will be possible to do it within 1 year, because otherwise, if it was possible, then why was it taking so long?
Okay, let me just rewind a little bit so that you understand what has happened.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they file for green card, especially the Indian community, which is pretty much the biggest one on employment base.
Right.
I'm talking employment base here. Family base, yeah. I don't really handle a lot of them, so I cannot really give you exact answers, but I can give you approximately. But on employment base, what has happened, people who are, for example, from India, they will try EB2, EB3, and even EB1, right?
Right.
So whenever they file it, the I-140 is approved, it takes out one slot in the space, right? So let's say they have a quota of 10,000. You file 3 of them, so you already have taken 3 out of 10,000, right? But at the end of the day, the person gets only 1 green card, right? And what has happened, people who have moved from EB2 to EB3, for example, they have gotten only 1 green card, but they have never, that slot that was not used have never been placed back in the quota. Right? So what happens now, when you saw that thing happening last month with the visa bulletin, a jump of EB3, that's the reason it happened.
Okay.
Because what happened, there's people who were EB3. So when you saw a 5 years jump, means almost like 200,000 of those have been placed back. But with Trump, he played a game. Instead of giving them the final action date, he gave them only the filing. Basically, he's just giving you a piece of it.
Right.
But all Biden has to do is just to change that filing date to a final action date on the visa bulletin, and he will give the 140,000, and that can be done within days. Within days.
So does that mean, this backlog, which has been for years and years, let's say, somebody's processing date is, let's say, 2010 10 or 12 or 13 or whatever, they will have the green card, the actual card, green card with them within a year?
No, it will not go to up to 2020. I don't think so. What it will go probably is like 2015. People who up to 2015 will probably get a green card within the next 1 year. At least the green card will be processed. It's not like right now what you're doing, filing is just getting an EAD or AC-21, that's all. But once he releases that second final action date, all he has to do is just to agree to that amount there and put it out there. And once it's there, you just complete all the applications that just been filed in the past few weeks, right? Few months. And that's all. So yeah, he can complete 140,000 because I think the backlog is almost like 200. So it's not a problem to complete that.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1 year is not that hard to do it. So
no, because that was the doubt, right? I just kept wondering, and I'm sure other people would also be wondering that if it was possible to actually do it within a year, then why have the backlog in the first place? Number one. Number two, how can they actually do so many applications within 1 year? Because then again, the administrative and paperwork and everything takes time. So now what you're saying is that's the only thing that whatever time that takes, and that's about it. And again, the process.
But let me answer two of your questions. Very interesting. They say, why didn't do it? Political reasons.
Political.
That's all.
Well, that answers everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Political reasons. And that has been there even under Obama. Obama tried to push it one time, and he got really smashed by at that. You remember when Obama was there, people say Obama didn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. He had both houses against him. All the things that Obama did was done pretty much through executive orders. H4 EAD, the I-140 non-revocable, etc., etc. Everything was done to executive power. There was not a single immigration law that was passed by Congress. In fact, Congress has been, when I say Congress, it means both houses, right? Senate and the U.S. House. Has never done anything. Even under Bush, when he tried to do something in 2007, they cut him off.
Then how are we sure that this will work in the future also?
Congress.
Then how are we so sure that both the houses...
Because this time they got their lesson. Number one, U.S. House of Representatives is in the hands of the Democrats. Number two, there's a big chance also the Senate will no longer have the majority for the Republicans. Senate works in the majority system, right?
Okay.
So right now it's a 50, I think it's 50-50, I think right now. But if the Georgia runoff gets 2 seats, it will bring it, I think, to 52-48, which means they have a clear majority, which means a lot of things will be accomplished.
Okay.
But if you look, people don't. I know I'm getting really very much into politics.
No, but it explains a lot of things. So it's really good that you're talking about this. It gives a lot of clarity.
Exactly. People, it doesn't. Unfortunately, the system is not corrupted like in many other countries around the world, but it is somehow. If you look at it, the system works in a way that suits the higher end of the people, the politicians and the big companies. And the other thing that I've been fighting to bring the green card pretty much current for Indians since 2010. I don't know, I have a petition on that. I've been fighting on this for years. But even under Obama, we wrote letters, we did petitions. I think my petition has I don't know how many signatures on it. We have done a lot of things, but we couldn't move it because the reason is also many companies like it this way. Let's be honest, right? As long as a person cannot get a green card, they will stick to that company. And that's something that has been happening for years, and we know that it works this way. Unfortunately, it's a system. That's what people call the establishment, and they get upset at it. But that's the truth. We have to admit it. It's happening. Having said that, under Obama or under even Bush, he was not that bad when it comes to immigration. But if you look at, there was a lot of racists on his group, and they were very, for me, or I was in law school, and when he was in power, and I was just graduating and becoming a lawyer, there was fear. We knew this, and under Bush administration, more than under Trump, in fact, because they will just come up in somewhere and they will just pick up people and they disappear. And people don't talk about that. It never happened really under Trump. As much as I don't like Trump, I have to give him credit for that. They will come and pick up people. I know friends who have disappeared, never seen after that. But we don't know, they might have been deported. When I say disappear, I don't mean they're killing them. I'm just saying that they might have been deported without us knowing, or things like that. But it's something that was happening during the Bush administration. It was not perfect, but at the same time, Bush was very much pro-employment-based immigration. So we were having no problem with H-1Bs and things like that, but at the same time, we were having issues with the green card. The only one time he tried to make a move was 2007, when everything became current. And later on, they retracted this is a glitch, and then they got sued and they had to accept it. So it's a lot. You have to look at the history, and I've been a lawyer since that time, so I've seen on those three administrations what has happened. Under Trump, we have seen many difficulties. We were able to fight, but it was a difficult fight. But now with Biden, there will be no fight on certain things, but there will be difficulties on other things.
Right.
And so we have to be ready. But the good news is that we're going to see more ease than difficulties. That's definitely one of the things that everybody is expecting. And again, just to kind of recap, I think we have another 5-6 minutes, right?
We actually have another 8 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes, yes. So we do have a lot of time. Before we move forward, let me again remind listeners that, since we have about 8 or 9 minutes, listeners, if you have any questions about your employment-based immigration, khas karke, you can call right now. Call us up on 510-657-1170 and ask your question to Attorney Shapir Ali. 510-657-1170. आप फोन कर सकते हैं इस नंबर पे. कोई भी अपना इमिग्रेशन का सवाल है अपने केस के बारे में, तो आप सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. कितना भी जेनरिक हो सकता है, कितना भी स्पेसिफिक हो सकता है. एंड इफ यू वांट टू हैव अ डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन अटॉर्नी शापिर अली से अगर आप प्राइवेटली डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं तो उनके ऑफिस का नंबर है 510-742-5887. That's 510-742-5887. His website is peeralilaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. अभी तक के लिए सो फार वी बीन डिस्कसिंग ये जो इलेक्शंस है और उनका क्या आउटकम हो सकता है, क्या इफेक्ट हो सकता है आने वाली इमिग्रेशन पॉलिसीज पे, क्या प्रपोज है, कितना फीजिबल है, कितना नहीं, उस बारे में हम बात कर रहे थे. तो आप भी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं. जस्ट कॉल अस अप ऑन द स्टूडियो नंबर और गेट इन टच विद हिम आफ्टर द शो. लेट्स कंटिन्यू अटॉर्नी शाह.
So what I was talking about is something very simple. We had a lot of things that has happened during the Trump administration, and it has not been great for immigrants. A lot of things that Obama did to help, they have tried to reverse it. Luckily, they also realized that they need immigrants, so they have been playing games on both sides. So they have been telling their people they are reversing things, but at the truth, they are not able to reverse it. But few things we have seen, delays on cases have been there, and right now cases like, for example, an H-4 visa, which was taking 2-3 months, not even 2-3 months, sometimes 6 weeks, now taking sometimes 8 months. And one of them is that they introduced that fingerprint things, which is kind of useless. H-1B doesn't have fingerprint, but H-4 does. So that's one thing maybe will be reversed. I'm not so sure, but it might and will reduce the delay. Number two, there was one thing with Trump, like with his memo, he mentioned that any cases, they have to go back in time and review the cases from A to the point and then approve the case, which takes a lot more time from the adjudicator, or the guy who's working on your case, or the lady who's working on your case. So that will probably be removed too. And then we had the student visa, where he put this new rule where you have to file 2 visas in order to get one, and it's taking almost 1 year to get it. But that 1 year was also under Obama, so we don't think that will be reduced, because hopefully it will be, but we can't guarantee that. Change of status from F1 student visa, I was mentioning. Then we had all those rules under student visa that kind of gave a hard time to students. I'm hoping they will be, well, many of them got kicked out by the court, so now people will not have to worry about that. And I'm hoping that you have more students coming. For example, a lot of students from China stopped coming pretty much. We don't even hear from them anymore. Many students from India prefer to go to Canada or go to Europe. They don't want to come in the U.S. because they're fearful. And that's a lot of money for the U.S., by the way. And then you have all those talents who are fearful to come because they don't feel comfortable. They hear a lot of stories and they say, why will I go to a country where it's unstable? We're going to have more talents. And when we have more talents means we basically come up with innovation, we come up with it. And then also the few things that really to my heart and I really like is the fact that Biden is going to really kind of take in consideration, not only in consideration, but really the climate change issue. And that what it will do, you're going to have, if he's going to be really taking the Paris Agreement into effect, you're going to have a lot of startups working on protecting the climate change. And that's going to generate a lot of jobs in that field. And we're expecting that, and that was my hope from day one, because we do two things in one. We create jobs, plus we protect the environment, which is now the major problem, because in the next 5 years we're going to be in a mess otherwise. And that's a different topic of discussion. And then also, you're going to see more consideration at the USCIS. Many times, lately I've been telling clients, you know what, under Obama, I would have put pressure, I would have sued them, I would have gotten a congressman involved, things would have moved. Mm-hmm. But now I can tell them, okay, you can try, but it might not work because they don't really care. Okay. Because under Obama, the rule was simple. And I'm using Obama as an example because that's where Joe Biden was. He's probably going to redo the same thing. It's like, the rule was simple. You need to look at a petition with the intention of approving it, unless you have to deny it. Under Trump, it's the other way around. Look at it in a way you're going to deny it unless you have to approve it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's basically you're guilty. One is you're innocent until proven guilty. The other one, you're guilty until proven innocent. And that's why you see that all those difficulties in those 4 years. We have been able to fight them because most of the time the officers at the USCIS themselves realize that it's unfair to be unfair to people. But now things are going to be a lot easier. But that doesn't mean you will not need really kind of to put your case together. You cannot just go there and throw out things and say, oh, I need to get it. You won't get it. I had someone who's just saying, oh, I just did that and it should have worked. But it doesn't work this way. Mm-hmm. Even under Trump or Obama, if you don't have a case, you don't have a case. And you cannot just make up things and think it will work, right? Even though a lot of people do, but that doesn't the way the system should work. A genuine system should work in the right way. So these are the few things that I see that is coming as good, but there are more stuff that will be coming. Like you say on that article, the backlog will be reduced, and why they didn't reduce it? Definitely, it's political. Plus, also, it's political in both ways. Political in terms of politics itself, and political also in terms of company policies. You have to understand, many companies doesn't really like that flexibility someone has under a green card, so they don't push for it. But now with all the problems of the H-1B, they're pushing for it, hoping that the candidate will stay with them. And most candidates are staying because there's a shortage of jobs. Now, the other thing we have to look at is we are going into recession, right? So that means we are going to see a reduction of job offers. But with Biden and the stock markets going up and all the stuff happening, new, like I said, climate change innovation, he will allow scientists to come in, etc. He will reboost the economy, which means the entire world economy is going to be reset and put back into place. Although it's not going to be like pre-COVID, definitely. But at the same time, it will be less fear for many people. I'm not saying all this to kind of flatter Biden or anything. It's just like these are things that we are expecting because we've seen it when Biden was vice president. So
Absolutely. No, today's show, all the discussions and all the points that you made, they do make a lot of sense, and they, like I said, they do clarify a lot of things also. And when you say that, it's all political, that all the backlog wasn't clearing up before, but because you see, I think that's the biggest card to play for any political party, for any political candidate even. So it does make a lot of sense that it's all political, and that's why they said they couldn't do it. The next one says, okay, we will work on that. That's what I think people put their faith in, right?
Let's hope, because you never know with politicians.
Well, absolutely.
I'm sure the best to everybody. Let's hope, or at least, by the way, I congratulate President-elect Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It was especially for Kamala Harris, like, she's the first in everything, a woman, a minority, an Indian, and just not because she's an Indian or a woman, but she's really good. I know her work, and she's really good as a lawyer, and I hope she'll do the same as a vice president. But time will tell, and we don't know how things are going to unfold in the next 3 months, so hang in there. Please, anything I told you today is purely my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Call us 510-742-5887. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Shah. I will talk to you again next week, and thank you for being here. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Stay tuned to Radio Zindagi. Ji Jao.